Welcome to another video in this series. This time we are going to take a look at a Future House bassline, and I basically found this nice melody while stumbling about the internet and finding this page. It's promusicproducers.com, and they got a really nice pattern here and show from step to step how to actually create it. So check the description for the website if you're interested in actually creating the pattern that's being played. Now, I created a unique sound to this bassline. I just felt like it, and this is what we'll be creating today. Now, take a listen. Alright, let's get straight to it, shall we? The first thing I'm going to do is create another MIDI channel right here in our basses group, and I'm just going to copy over the bassline that we already got. Now I'm going to solo this track and just loop this bassline here. We can't hear anything at the moment, and I'm going to load up a brand new instance of Operator. Okay, now we can hear our pattern, but our pattern is one octave too high. So instead of just moving the notes over, I'm going to take this pitch plug in here and just move them down one octave or 12 semitones. Now, the first thing that we got to do to create this house feeling is change our wave to a square wave. And that basically gives this future house kind of feeling. Now, this isn't really interesting enough, so let's add a little bit of attack in here. So I'm just going to pump up the envelope here to around like 50%, 47, I don't know, something. Sounds alright, doesn't it? Let's bring up the decay time. And we already are starting to get the gist of what we're trying to do here. Let's make it sound a little bit more interesting by adding another square wave in here, because I'll just show you the sine wave doesn't make it really that interesting because there are not that much harmonics. Now, it does sound quite interesting, but this has a lot of more higher harmonics. Oh, that's a little bit much. Let's add another square wave in here. Yeah, that's it. Alright. Now, the next thing we gotta do is maybe pump up the decay a little bit. Yeah, alright. That sounds awesome. Now, the time knob here just moves every single decay slider we got in here. Maybe that's even a little bit too long, so let's bring it down a little bit. Alright, what I'm missing here is a little bit of punch in the sound itself, so let's use our trusty pitch envelope here to add a little bit of punch to the sound. Now, this sounds crap, so let's bring down the decay. Now it's a little bit of clickiness at the beginning. Try to listen to it without. Just a little bit of clickiness at the beginning, a little bit of decay. Okay, now that's everything in this first step we gotta do. We already got a sound that's very much like the finished result here. I'm just going to. What the hell am I doing? Seriously. No. Moving this over here. This is the finished result. We're steering in the right direction. Now, to make this a little bit more interesting and a little bit wider, let's pump up the spread. 70% sounds good. And let's group this together, and this is a little bit of a trick because there's not really a detune function itself in Operator. You can use the spread knob and it has a similar functionality, but if we're using it in FM mode, as we are here, where each oscillator is modulating the first one, we we don't really have the option, like for example in this subtractive mode here, where every oscillator is feeding into the filter to detune the oscillators to each other. So what we're going to do is we are going to group this and copy it over, duplicate it, so we can use this to detune this a little bit. This fine tune knob is basically what's the detune knob in other synthesizers, so we can just yeah, move the tuning up by 15 cents or something like that. And now we got this, and that's just the detuning, and you can hear what it does to the sound. This is without, and this is with. Really does add something to the sound. All right, now we got this done, and let's listen to our first step guide here. This is the copies of the sound I made while actually doing it the first time. This is how it's supposed to sound, and this is how it actually sounds. It's basically the same, maybe a few % off on the envelope, on the filter or something, but it doesn't matter, you get the general gist. Now, in the next step, and this is the more complicated step, we have to actually make this sound the sound we're hearing in the final result with a few effects. Now, first off, there's way too much low end in here because we're going to use a sub anyways, and we got detune and we got spread. That's all messing up the low end of the synthesizer. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a sub oscillator later. And we got this one here. It's just a sine wave. And for now, we're going to cut everything below like 250 Hertz, for example, out. Now we got rid of most of the low end in here. Let's go to the next integral part to the sound. That's basically adding a chorus effect. And what you might notice is in the last few videos in this playlist, we've used quite a lot of chorus effects on these bass lines. And it's just because, listen to the difference here it makes. It gives it this really, I always call it hollow. It's not really the right description of the sound, but it's a really hard to find a word when English is not your native language. But it's almost hollow, and it really gives it this house characteristic. I'm gonna call it that. It's wrong, but I hope you know what I mean. I'm going to deactivate the chorus here on the finished one, just to show you what it sounds like without it. A little bit of modulation and the decay sound, not the attack, but the decay sounds a little bit more warm, and it really does add something to the sound. Okay, now we got our chorus in there. The next thing we have to do is give it a little bit of saturation, and I'm going to do this with a saturator. So let's try this. No, got the wrong one. Solid here. It's actually a little bit too much high end. Now let's do something here. Let's use an auto filter before the saturator to remove some of the high end. To give it this really deep feel, but now there's lots of high harmonic content missing, so let's add the saturator back in. No, that doesn't sound so great because it's a little bit of crackling. Can't really hear the crackling anymore. All right, now we got that. So let's go ahead and actually use another EQ here after this because I want a lot of those higher harmonics that are now gone to go back a little bit. So if we take a look at the spectrum here, we got lots of the low mids and high mids, but almost nothing here. So let's and maybe get a little bit more rid of the low end. It's maybe a little bit too extreme. And around 300 Hertz here, that's where muddy frequencies often pile up, so let's cut that out too. And I know this looks really unusual, but it does what it should. Alright, maybe add a little bit of compression to emphasize the attack of the sound, this clickiness at the beginning. And the last thing we're missing is a ping pong delay. Maybe bring it down a little bit, it's way too high. And to remove the clashing of the sounds, bring that down. Now let's compare it to our actual finished product. Everything, or just the only thing that's missing now is basically a little bit of space. Let's do that by bringing up the reverb here. And what I'm using here is basically the same reverb I've used in all the videos before, and that's just Ableton's Max for Live Convolution Reverb Pro. It's very short decay, and that's really important. It's like half a second. So we don't want like this clashing, like. Now if you do like this, go ahead, use it. But for me it's not muddying up the sound, but it's washing it a little bit out, bringing it together. And we're just using a little bit of reverb here. And a little bit of ping pong delay to give it a little bit of spatial feeling. And now we got basically the same here. The last thing missing to actually make those two sounds the same is we have to bring down the compressor a little bit, because it's emphasizing the attack a little bit too much. So if we listen at the original, there's more clickiness at the beginning. So let's bring it down a little bit, maybe bring this down a little bit, and might want to bring down this one. Maybe bring this down up a little bit. Basically no difference between those two if you want it really similar, but we just made the whole sound basically from scratch, and not using any other plugins but those that are given to you when you buy Ableton. So that's a Future House Bass. So let's take a listen at this. If we just copy this over and play it with the rest, I'm going to deactivate our original here and just play our new one. Sounds awesome. Really does sound awesome. Alright, that's it for this video. Now I'm going to play in the background the sounds that we'll be taking a look at in the next few videos. But for now, we got a Future House bass already up. You can use it, do whatever you want with it, and thanks for watching the video. I really like this one, this UK style one.